Hello everyone, I'm Elizabeth Shaw and this channel is all about the narcissistic personality disorder to give people more understanding of narcissistic abuse and ways to recover from narcissistic abuse. This video is a glossary of the words used to understand the crazy-making narcissistic personality disorder. Now, there's so many terms out there for so many different things that when you're first discovering about this and discovering what's happened to you, it can be quite confusing and quite daunting. And then as you get more and more into it and those light bulb moments hit. Now, there is videos on this channel about the different terms that go into more in-depth information on it, but here's just a quick glossary of the disorder and what characteristics are on the disorder, the types of narcissistic people that are out there, the things that they do to you, the things that you end up with during the relationship and after the relationship that you have to overcome, and the things that you have to do to remove them from your life. So, terminology relating to the narcissistic personality disorder has been developed by psychologists and therapists, as well as survivors of the abuse seeking a deeper understanding of what they've been through. So the narcissistic characteristics, the meanings, they might not show them all at the same time, but they'll be in there somewhere. Number one, a sense of entitlement. They believe they have a right to anything and everything they want. What's yours is mine and what's mine's my own kind of attitude. Number two, arrogance and dominance. They are proud of who they are. Some will be obvious in showing it. Some will hide it away. Exploitative, number three. Whatever they do is only to ever meet a need of their own. Number four, grandiose. Whether they show this or not, they believe they are superior to all others. Number five, jealous and envious. They are never truly happy and always want more. Number six, a lack of empathy. They cannot truly feel what others do or put themselves in other people's shoes. They don't have the emotional intelligence to feel that. Number seven, preoccupied with power or success. Now, there is those that are successful and will brag, and there's those that are not successful that will lie, and there is those that are not that will blame all others for why they're not successful. Number eight, requires excessive attention. They need to be admired by all others to fill their own sense of self up. Through love or fear, through positive attention, negative attention or hate. They need that attention from other people. Number nine, the belief within themselves that they are special. They believe they are above all others and everyone is just inferior to them. So the meanings of the words of the types of narcissists on the spectrum. There are three main types. There's the grandiose, that believe they're better than all others and will act and say they are. There's the victim. They will look kind and compassionate, yet they'll always play the victim. And then there's the malignant, which is an extreme mix of narcissism, antisocial and psychopath personality disorder with paranoid traits. And then the subtypes are the covert, who are shy and to the outside world appear kind. The overt, the most obvious grandiose behaviour. They are arrogant, demanding, boastful. They have a rage very close to the surface when they don't get their own way, and they are ruthless in power and control. Then there's the somatic. These rely upon their bodies and the looks to get their needs met. And the cerebral, these are usually relying on intelligence, although not all of them are intelligent. Some just lie about that too. And there's other meanings on the internet out there for the words of the types of the narcissistic people. So, number 1, the narcissistic winner. Everything is a competition and they want to win at all costs. Number 2, again, the victim narcissist, the sneakiest narcissist. They always have the perfect sob story and they always play the victim very well to manipulate others into helping them. Number 3, the know-it-all narcissist. They know anything and everything, even if they don't have the facts to back things up. Number 4, the puppet master narcissist. They control and have the power of all those around them. Number 5, the antagonist narcissist. These always antagonize those around them. They will always have an enemy. They scream at other car drivers. They are nasty to neighbours. They are rude to staff. They're just extremely rude to people. Number 6, the status narcissist. These usually have a high social power, status, and are extremely successful. Number 7, the royal narcissist. They believe they are entitled to the best of everything. We have the words narcissist, narcissism, NPD, narcissistic, and more for the disorder itself. It is a cluster B personality disorder, and these people, the disorders included on the cluster B are the narcissistic personality disorder, the antisocial personality disorder, the borderline personality disorder, and the histrionic personality disorder. Often those having one of the disorders will have some characteristics of the other disorders. We also have the terms of the victim, which is the one that the narcissist has taken advantage of, and the survivor, which is the person who has survived narcissistic abuse. I actually prefer the word target as they simply target individuals to fill their own needs and their own desires. And staying in that victim mode doesn't help you recover. You are a survivor and now you're experienced into what love isn't. So I prefer the word target and survivor because you were targeted by the narcissist. So the meanings of what they do. Number 1, blame shifting. They switch the crazy making onto the innocent target. When anyone confronts them or tries to set boundaries, they will switch the whole focus onto the target so they can escape accountability and not take responsibility for any of their actions, putting all the focus and all the blame onto the target. Number 2, boundaries. The narcissist will try to break down all the target's boundaries, their self-beliefs of things that they will and will not accept, things they will and will not do. A narcissist will step over and stomp out each and every one of their target's boundaries through their many methods of manipulation. Number 3, counter-parenting. This is when they will use all they can against a healthy parent. They do not care for the damage they cause to the children's minds so long as they destroy the other parent. Number 4, devalue. They believe they are superior to all others, so they will devalue friends, family, and partners, work colleagues. This is when they slowly take the target apart because of their emotional level of awareness, most likely not developing past toddlerhood. Their own insecurities of unattainable perfection They do not hesitate in putting others down through expressing their disappointment in others, rage, being hostile, belittling, being judgmental, and the abandonment of the target. Number 5, discard. They no longer see the target as useful to them or desirable to them, so they simply throw them away, cast them to one side, usually in more mind-blowing, hideous ways, just to cut the target open even more and leave them with even more doubts. Number 6, divide and conquer, which is part of triangulation, to assert control over all others, to create animosity between people, to dominate people, to isolate people, making it easier for the narcissist to manipulate people. Number 7, the enabler, someone who doesn't usually understand what the narcissist is or believes the narcissist rather believable pity plays at the time. Enablers are manipulated by the narcissist to believe that they truly understand the narcissist and believe that they can help them, which often ends up with the enabler helping the narcissist, destroying other people without even realising it. Number 8, the false apology. As a narcissist is never accountable and they believe they are always right, you'll never get a real apology from them. You'll only ever get a false apology if the narcissist believes it will meet a need of their own. To remove any shame that they feel, you'll get things like, I'm sorry, if you hadn't, I wouldn't. I'm sorry you couldn't handle the truth. I'm sorry you're too sensitive to understand. It's always a false apology. It's always blaming someone else for their actions, and it's always to meet a need of their own. Number 9, flying monkeys. This is a term from the film The Wizard of Oz and the witches flying monkeys. These are enablers who help the narcissist by terrorising targets for the narcissist. The narcissist manipulates others into doing the dirty work for them. They can be friends, partners, parents, siblings and children, work colleagues, bosses. Number 10, gaslighting. This is an insidious form of psychological abuse. Where they sow seeds of self-doubt into others, so the target loses their own reality, their own sanity, their own memories and their own perceptions. They undermine the target's mental state. They lie and give false information by projection, plane shifting, triangulation, saying that never happened when it did, or I told you last week when they didn't. You're too sensitive. You're too insecure when you're actually just listening to your instincts. Or what seems to be one of their favourites, you're crazy. They brainwash their targets into believing the narcissist's reality. Number 11, the Hoover, named after the Hoover. As they make all those around them miserable, often driving others away. Eventually, if people pull away, they might try to hoover the target back in. They use lots of manipulative tactics to do this. The hoover is when they come to suck the target back in as they feel a need to use them again, just to discard them all over again. If they have a new source of supply, they might leave them alone and focus on the new target. If the new target isn't working, most will hoover an old target. Number 12, idealization or love bombing. The action of making something perfect or better than the true reality. The narcissist will hook a target in by making them believe that they are perfect and that the target's dreams have all come true. This is usually then followed by the devaluation and the discard. Manipulation, the action of unscrupulously controlling others for their own advantage, unfairly and dishonestly. 14, narcissistic injury. They've usually suffered some form of emotional injury as a child, which stunted or stopped their development of emotions, and they've usually turned into the fight mode. Narcissistic injury can also be if the narcissist feels criticised in some way by something the target said or did that the narcissist took personally, even if it wasn't meant as a criticism. 15, the narcissistic rage. If the narcissist again feels criticism, isn't getting things their own way, or feels entitled to something that they are not getting, it hurts their inflated ego, setting off wild and sometimes dangerous rage, far beyond normal rage. It's traumatizing to the targets. Number 16, the narcissistic smirk. When they for a second seem to look pleased over something that normal people wouldn't, the corner of the mouth will go up ever so slightly, as they cannot fully contain the delight they're feeling on the inside about destroying others. Number 17, the narcissistic stare. This is something out of this world. Anyone who's witnessed this knows how terrifying it can be, how it can make you freeze on the spot, send shivers down your spine. They actually seem soulless in that moment, and most narcissistic people's eyes turn a cold black. 18, neglect. They ignore others' needs for emotional, psychological or physical needs. They will not give others care and attention unless it meets a need of their own. Number 19, projection. Pushing their own feelings, thoughts, actions, beliefs, opinions and traits onto the target. The narcissist will blame others to escape accountability. They will accuse others of what they're actually doing, from you're a liar, you're a cheat, you're insecure, you didn't do that for me. They will project all their faults onto other people. Number 20, reinforcement. Now, this is when they'll give the target an intermittent reinforcement of, they will play nice just to keep that self-doubt in the target's mind that they are a good person and they can be helped. Number 21, supply. Narcissistic people depend on others' emotions to sustain their sense of identity. They need a supply of emotions from others, negative or positive, to regulate their self-esteem. Without that supply, they are empty. They will use friends, family, work colleagues. No one is exempt. If they can not get positive, they will seek to destroy and get negative. If the main source pulls away, they might hoover them, or they might hoover an ex, or they might seek a new supply. Now, narcissistic people do treat individuals differently. So although everyone is supplied to them, they will be really nice to those that they want to use as their flying monkeys, or they will put fear into those that they want to use as their flying monkeys. And the same with the enablers. They will either play really nice to them or make them fear them. Although they treat everybody the same, they treat everybody in different ways, if that makes sense. Although they use everybody, they will use people's individuals' insecurities against them. Number 22, silent treatment, another form of psychological manipulation to make the target beg, plead, apologise and make up to the narcissist for things that they didn't even do. They do the present silent treatment in the home where you're left walking on eggshells, or they will just disappear on you. And this again is to put self-doubt and worry and fear into the target's mind. 23, the smear campaign. This is when the narcissist is losing control of the target's mind, so tries to discredit the target by smearing the target's name to manipulate others to side with the narcissist and help bring the target down. They do this out of jealousy. They are extremely calculated in trying to discredit those who see through their mask. They will gossip, lie, blame shift, project about the target to children, parents, siblings, neighbours, work colleagues, anyone that will listen to them, anyone that will believe them, so they can isolate and destroy that target. 24, the scapegoat. The scapegoat isn't always a child, but I'm using child as a reference. The scapegoat, the child who is usually strong-willed with a mind of its own, the narcissist struggles to control, so blames the scapegoat for anything and everything that's wrong within the family unit. 25, the lost child, the child who gets nothing, no negative, no positive, no love, no hate. 26 is the mascot, the child who plays the jester role in the family to try and diffuse any problems. And 27, the golden child, usually sensitive and keen to please, so the narcissist hooks in on them because they can easily manipulate the child to meet the narcissist's high demands. 28, triangulation, where they use others to get the target to give in to the narcissist's demands, or I'll just explain that one a little bit more. So if the narcissist wants the target to do something for them that they won't do, if they want to break down one of their boundaries, they will use things like, my ex would have done that for me, just to keep chipping away at people. Or they triangulate to isolate the target from any support network through making up lies and informing one person of something another said, to divide and conquer, to dominate all others. They create competition between other people that other people don't even know about. They will even play their own children off against each other. 29, the word salad. A mixture of words and phrases that lack any meaning to the original topic. This is used in most conversations that you have with a narcissistic person, where they just spew loads of words out at you, so you're left confused, wondering what on earth went on, wondering how you've got off the original conversation. You were talking about something completely different and they've managed to twist it all onto something that you've done, or some fault you've had, or some insecurity that you've got. So, meanings of the words that people of this abuse can suffer from during and have to recover from afterwards. Number 1, anxiety. An excessive, irrational feeling of worry, nervousness and unease. There is rational anxiety. So if you're driving along and you see a car coming towards you, and you think it's going to hit you, you can have that rational anxiety. When you're living with the narcissist and you're not sure what they may do, or you can see their eyes go, you've got that rational anxiety that their eyes have gone and you know that they've gone. Same as the phone, if they're ringing, or the car pulling up on the drive, because you never know what kind of mood they're going to be in. Yet when you're out of that relationship, you've then got irrational anxiety left, because when the phone rings, you know it's not them, you know you're safe, but your body's been trained to think that way over a prolonged period of time. Number 2, CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, due to suffering from a series of stressful traumatic events. 3, depression, an excessive amount of self-doubt, misery, sadness, woe is me, and doom and gloom. 4, fear, an excessive amount of fear for being scared about the narcissist, what they might do, fear for the target's safety, fear for children's safety, fear and distrust in other people. 5, fight, flight, freeze or fawn. Humans 4 natural defense modes. Targets often fight back, run away, freeze on the spot, or fawn, which most do, which means slowly give in to the narcissistic's demands, as they believe life would be easier that way, although it never is easier that way, because the narcissist will always up their games. 6, guilt, for not seeing it sooner, being unable to help them, being unable to help themselves, enabling the narcissist believing it was being helpful at the time for accepting behaviours that should have never been accepted, for taking all the blame when it wasn't all the target's fault. I know this is a glossary, but I'm just going to add that guilt, you need to remove that guilt from your life, because it will only keep holding you back. When it comes to feeling guilty, you've got to remember that what you did at that time, you did with good intentions. And you can't do wrong things when you've got good intentions. So remember that you had good intentions and remove that guilt from your life. 7, hypervigilance, always on guard for anything and everything that could go wrong. 8, insomnia, unable to sleep, or the opposite, sleeping too much. 9, intrusive thoughts, things that happened in the past, things that could happen in the future, full of fear, worry and guilt. 10, overactivity, keeping busy to try and stop intrusive thoughts, but doing far too much. Number 11, self-isolation, no longer trusting others, so isolating themselves from all others for fear of being hurt. 12, self-destructive behaviours, by not removing the guilt for things that were done or wasn't done or understood at the time. Self-sabotaging the present as feeling unworthy or full of self-doubt. 13, trauma bonding, believing it was love and that the narcissist can be helped. Trauma bonding is from being taken up so high to then being dropped so low. The body releases chemicals, so it needs to be weaned off those chemicals that were released into the body. It's not love, it's a drug addiction, and the body needs to be weaned off those drugs. Meanings of what targets need to do to break free and become a survivor of narcissistic abuse. 1, boundaries. Your no needs to mean no, and you need to stick to the no. If something doesn't suit you, it needs to be a no. 2, grey rock. So the narcissistic personality disorder is on a spectrum. Some are more dangerous than others, and it has to be no contact. Others, if you're unable to go no contact, grey rock. So everything needs to be on a business-like response only, as boring as possible. The narcissist knows nothing about you. Limited communication, limited contact. To give the narcissist no reaction. Number 3, no contact. Just that, no contact. Best form of recovery. The target completely removes them from any part of their life and never gets in touch with them again. This includes the narcissist's friends, family, flying monkeys and enablers. 4, no reaction. Never reacting to the narcissist games, as that hands the power over to the narcissist. When awareness is out there for all those going through this, or professionals, there will be more understanding to help people reclaim reality, recover and move on. It'll stop people falling for this kind of abusive person again, and hopefully one day stop people getting involved in the first place. Thank you for listening. Bye.